Hey guys, so glad you guys are here on this awesome Sunday morning. Exciting about Grant, huh? That's awesome. Grant is not here, obviously, with all that, but we're just so excited. We'll be getting him back. I think he should be here on Thursday night. He's taking a little time off, spend with the family, spend with Kayla. That's really exciting stuff. Guys, big thing. I mean, he talks. See How I Move is huge. That's a big event every year. Summer camp, be there. Money is due next Sunday. I don't want you guys to miss that. If money is an issue, please come talk to us. We want everybody there. So please just have a conversation with us, and we'd love to just talk with you because, again, we want every person in our youth group there. So that's kind of the goal. Hey, this morning we're talking about the prophets. We're in this series right now, and so we're going to open our book Bibles up to Isaiah 52. Isaiah 52. So go ahead and turn there. If you have a Bible, your phone, or whatever that is, go ahead and turn there. We're going to spend some time reading out of there this morning as we get started. I think the cool thing about Isaiah is that it was written so long ago. But the beautiful thing is these books of the Bible in the Old Testament still are completely relevant to us today. And I think that's the coolest part about this series right now, because we're studying these Old Testament books that seem so ancient and seem so far away from us, but the reality is they truly are relevant. So it's cool being able to dive into the Word and dive into this text that we don't usually study on our own, and we get to study it as a group and kind of dive deeper. This might be the first time I'm ever reading this passage, and so that's kind of an exciting thing, I think. Let's go ahead and get started. Isaiah 52, verse 13. We'll get started right there. It says, "See, my servant will act wisely. He will be raised and lifted up and highly exalted, just as there were many who were appalled at him. His appearance was so disfigured beyond that of any human being, and his form marred beyond human likeness. So he will sprinkle many nations, and kings will shut their mouths because of him. For what they were not told, they will see, and what they have not heard, they will understand. Who has believed our message, and to whom has the arm of the Lord been revealed? He grew up before him like a tender shoot and like a root of dry ground. He had no beauty or majesty to attract us to him, nothing in his appearance that we should desire him. He was despised and rejected by mankind, a man of suffering and familiar with pain. Like one from whom people hide their faces, he was despised and held him in low esteem." Verse 4, "Surely he took up our pain and bore our suffering, yet we considered him punished by God, stricken by him, and afflicted. But he was pierced for our transgressions, he was crushed for our iniquities. The punishment that brought us peace was on him, and by his wounds we are healed. We are like sheep, have gone astray. Each of us has turned to our own way, and the Lord has laid on him the iniquity of us all. He was oppressed and afflicted, yet he did not open his mouth. He was like a lamb to the slaughter, and as a sheep before its shearers is silent, so did he not open his mouth. By oppression and judgment he was taken away, yet who of his generation protested? For he was cut off from the land of the living. For the transgression of my people he was punished. He was assigned a grave with the wicked and with the rich in his death, though he had done no violence, nor was any deceit in his mouth." You guys pray. God, I ask that you come into space this morning. I ask that you enter this space and pierce our hearts and teach us a new thing, God. As we get to study this book of Isaiah, God, I pray that you open our eyes to the new truth and you challenge us with new things. God, prepare our hearts this morning that we can hear from you. Hear and pray. Amen. Y'all, can we give a round of applause for the mothers in the room real quick? It's Mother's Day. Yo, happy Mother's Day if you're a mother. Mother's Day is fun, right? We get to have a lot of fun. I don't know about you guys, but we tend to hang out with family. We tend to throw a party, hang out with a bunch of family, and see a bunch of people. Mother's Day, I think, for a lot is very special. We get to celebrate our mothers, and I think that's really special. I think for some people it's hard. So I want to be just understanding of everybody comes from different places. Mother's Day for some is very special. It might be hard for others. But at the end of the day, I think the cool thing is we get to celebrate our moms. Our moms put so much work in for us. They teach us everything we know. Like our moms and our dads, they've brought us up and they brought us into this world. And as I think about my life right now in college, like I go away to college and I come back, and when I get home, my mom spoils me. Like, I seriously, like, I come back and she gives me all these things and she makes it so special, and I love being home. But I also know, like, that's not everyday life. Like, I know for you guys, at least for most of you, I want to know if it is you because I want to know your mom, but I'm assuming most of your moms don't spoil you every time you come through the door. Like, every time you walk back in, it's like the first time she's seen you in 3 months. So that's where I'm at. But I also know, like, it's different for you guys. I know you're living at home for many of you guys, and you have that tension of, like, I want freedom, but your parents are like, you still live under my roof, and, like, you get a little bit of freedom, but not a ton. Like, I get that tension. I've been there. And I think the cool thing is that our parents, like, they teach us everything we know. Right? Like, growing up, like, as a little child, they continually form us and mold us and teach us into who we are today. I think that's special. And at the same time, they also get to discipline us. Right? Because we live under the roof, because they're our parents, they have authority in our lives. So they get to set expectations into place that we have to do. So for me, it was mowing the lawn. Anybody mow the lawn? Like, I have to mow the lawn. It's like every weekend, right? So, like, I'm in charge of that. Going through high school was like, that was my job. Every week I got to mow the lawn. I got to take out the trashes. I knew trash day was Monday morning, so Sunday night I was taking the trashes out to the street. I have to empty all the trash. Like, that's my job. It's expectations that my mom and my dad have put into place for me, so that I can take care of the house. I can have my part in keeping the house moving forward. And so these are things that I had to do. And you guys might have different things. For my family, there's expectations that were there, and then as, like, the children keep going on, like things change, which is weird. We also, so, like, any firstborns in the room, like, we have it the hardest. I firmly believe, like, with all of my heart, that we have it actually the hardest. All right, y'all that are, like, our younger sibling, y'all are chilling. Because for me, I had, like, a curfew every night of the week until the day I left for college. I had to be back by 11, and you might as well say, like, oh, 11's good, like, mine's worse. But, like, every day until I left for college, it was 11, and I wasn't complaining until I came back from college. And this fool, my brother, like, gets to come home whenever he wants. And he hasn't even, like, what? It's gotten easier as the children go on. But either way, at the end of the day, guys, there are expectations in place. You guys get what I'm saying? Y'all following? Like, there's expectations for us as students and as children that our parents put on us. It's the same thing in the classroom. It's the same thing everywhere we go. But the reality is, guys, expectations are more than in our relationships with our parents and in school. It actually is in every area of our life. Expectations rule our lives. Expectations is like every day, every moment you have expectations. Picture with me for a second. You pull out of your driveway at home. Okay, you pull out of your driveway and you go down the street and you take that first right. Y'all picture, like, for you what that first right looks like? And you're going down and you turn right, and all of a sudden the road ends and there's a giant lake in front of you. Would that throw you for a twist? Would you just be like, yo, I've driven this exact road like every day for the last 18 years and I've never seen a lake here. Like, what just happened? Be like, okay. Then you go back the other way, you go down the street, you take another right, and then there's Disneyland right there. And you're like, yo, where is Disneyland? I thought Disneyland was in Southern California. Like, I'm so confused. Right? Would you throw this for a twist, right? That may be exciting for some of you. Some of you guys love Disney. But my point is we constantly have expectations in our life. Like expectations are everywhere. Think about where you walk in your front door. Picture your front door for a second. You walk in, you open it, you look in your house. What do you see? You maybe see your couch. Maybe you see the hallway that leads somewhere. Maybe you see there's maybe the bathroom by the front door. Like, it just kind of depends, right? What does your house look like? Picture for a second, like for me. Some of you guys have been to my house. Like, we had youth events there and stuff. Like, my house, if you've been there, we open the front door and you can see all the way down into the family room. So it's kind of a straight shot all the way down. And I have a big expectation. Every single time I come in that front door between 9:30 and 10:30 at night, I know Pastor Chris, my dad, is going to be sitting on his lazy boy watching television. I just know this, okay? Like, I have an expectation every single time, and when I open my door at night, he'll be there laying on his lazy boy, probably eating ice cream or his chocolate or whatever, and he'll be watching the television. All right, some of you all laughing, like, some of you out get this, like, that's my dad. I know there's an expectation there. To the point where, like, if I don't see my dad there, I start to wonder, like, where's my dad? Is he on vacation? Like, is he, like, what is he doing? Because what else would he be doing in his life between 9:30 and 10:30 if he's not on his couch? Because I don't understand. Because he's there every night. Now, that's just his habit. That's what he likes to do before he goes to bed. And so, at the end of the day, expectations rule every area of our life. Like, expectations are ingrained in us. Picture for a second, you wake up this morning, and you're in your bed, and all of a sudden, like you just start to rise off the bed. Like just gravity's gone. Right? Like the way you wake up midair, like you're knocking into the wall, and you're like literally floating through the air. Like I'm picturing like I share a room with Cam, and like we're like bumping into each other, like can't move away from me, like there's no gravity. You had an expectation, believe it or not, like you didn't think about it this morning. Probably most of you didn't. I'm assuming all of you didn't. But you had an expectation that gravity was still going to be here when you woke up. And I have an expectation that gravity is still going to be here tomorrow morning when I wake up as well. There's expectations in our life that we expect all these things. It rules our entire life. And in the same way, guys, I believe expectations are present in our faith as well. I believe there's expectations that have been set in our religion. And if I want to take you guys back a couple thousand years, they had an expectation, just like we expect things in our life. The religious people had an expectation that Jesus would come a certain way. They had an expectation that Jesus was going to come on his white horse. He was going to come from some royal family. They had an expectation that Jesus was going to come as this powerful figure. And if you know the story of Jesus, you know Jesus did not come like that at all. In fact, he came from a very humble beginning. He came from a place where nobody expected. He blew all expectations out of the water. Instead of riding on a white horse, he rode on a donkey. And instead of coming as this massive ruler, he came as a humble, suffering servant. As Isaiah tells us, he took our iniquities, he took it all to the cross, and died a sinner's death. And he paved the way for us as Christians today. He died on the cross first as a suffering servant so that we may be free in him today. Can I get an amen? Amen. This is the story of Jesus. And this is why we can be set free today. Because Jesus came first. He died on the cross so that we may be set free. We need to put our faith in Jesus. And believe that Jesus came first so that we can live second. This is the beautiful truth. This is the essence of our faith. Jesus broke all expectations and came as a suffering servant. But guys, I want to argue this morning that there's a problem in our church. I want you to, for just a second, to think about that moment Jesus was on the cross for you, and you, and you, and you, and every single one of you. Imagine that moment that Jesus was on the cross. And I hope that stirs a passion in your heart. I hope that awakes something in your heart. Because that was not just another day on planet Earth. That was a day that changed the rest of history. And it will change our future as well. Jesus died. But the problem is, I think we wake up every morning sometimes forgetting what the weight of that actually is. Like, I want you to spend a second just thinking about that sacrifice that Jesus made. Does that not stir something up in your heart? Like, Jesus did something that he did not have to do. We are sinners. We have messed up. We've all made mistakes. And Jesus decided to come. He went to Gethsemane, talked with God, and said, "May your will be done in my life." He said, "I don't want to die on the cross. I don't want to go through this pain. But God, may your will be done." Jesus then went to the cross and died on the cross for us. Does that not mean something to you? I mean, that's the essence of our faith, but I think, man, I think we forget about it from time to time. Like, we forget, the power of this. What this actually means. And as Isaiah talks about, man, Jesus takes everything for us. We're set free. We're no longer holding on to the shame and the guilt. We're no longer held on by the chains of our choices. But instead, we are set free. I think at times, though, we have a hard time looking past that. I think at times, we've made mistakes that we have a hard time looking past. I'm going to raise my hand, as we all could, in saying that we have made mistakes. We've done things wrong. And there's things that I've done that I regret, and I will always regret, that I wish I wouldn't have done. But the beauty of Jesus is that he sets us free. The problem, though, is I think many of us have a hard time moving on and letting go. Jesus says, I don't care what you've done. Come to me, son. Come to me, daughter. Let all of that go and come to me and be set free. I have died so that you may live. Guys, there's a lukewarm Christianity going on. And I think this may be some of it. Is that we don't understand the depth of Jesus' death on the cross. And we don't understand that Jesus sets us free from our past. Let it go. Let it go. And I have something this morning. I have an illustration that I hope to give you a little glimpse of what this means. I like to use illustrations because I think it brings a visual interpretation of what I'm trying to say. I want to give you guys an illustration this morning. It's not great, it's not perfect, there's loopholes in every illustration, but my goal is if we can focus in for a few, that this illustration will help you show, maybe even peer into your life a little bit for a second, and say, maybe this is some of my life. Okay, Joey, can you come up, please? I asked him to be my helper for this illustration. Okay, this is Joseph, if you guys don't know him, and again, loopholes in every illustration. But I want to use this as an opportunity to try to show you what I'm talking about. So Joseph, if you can grab these cylinders filled with concrete. These are concrete buckets, all right? And I'm asking him to exaggerate for a second because this man is obviously very strong. Okay, but I want to ask him to just exaggerate for a second and just kind of walk around for a second with these concrete blocks. Okay, and I just want to show you that this is what life can be like. Okay, this right here is what life can be like. Don't you want to be set free? Like, don't you want to just be able to walk around? Like, Joseph can't keep up to me. Why? Because he's got some weight on his arms. Like, he's holding down these guys. And although he could go better, like he's demonstrating it for me, like, to help me out. Thank you, Joseph. I know you can just bend, like, just lift these and everything, but thank you. But my point is, guys, check this. Our life easily can be weighed down by the things that we've done. Be weighed down by the choices that we've made. Be weighed down by the choices that other people have done to us. Like what have you done that you just don't let go of? Like maybe life is like this. Maybe life is like this. You're continually weighed down by the weight of your sin, and you have these chains that you can't let go of. Is this your life right now? Is this anybody? Like, I'm not asking you to raise hands, but I'm just asking you to think about for your life for a second. Have you done things that you feel like you can't get out of? Like you're continually going back and back and back? Or what is it like for you? Is it one big decision? Is it a continual thing? What are you doing right now in your life? Just think about your life for a second. That you feel trapped. That you feel like you're in chains because of. Think about that for a second. And Joseph, if you can just go ahead and sit down. Here's the thought, guys, is that we go about life continually weighed down by these chains, continually weighed down by these weights in our life. And I believe that we turn to the wrong things to be filled up. We turn to the wrong way. God asks us to come to Him, but instead we go the wrong direction. I have a remote here for Joseph. Okay, maybe for some, and y'all, I love Netflix. I'm not bagging on Netflix. Netflix is like a gift, okay? I love Netflix. But y'all, like, do you turn to the television to get your worries away? Like, do you turn to the television when times are tough and you've been hurt by others, or you've made decisions that, man, like, I feel like life is terrible right now. I feel like life is just going bad. Like, I can't get out of this slump. Like, come on. Like, how can I make this better? And you go back to the television and you sit down on that lazy boy and you're watching television because all the worries go away. But let me tell you something this morning. That might go away for a second. There might be a second of comfort. But the problem is when Joseph puts that back down and he stands back up again, the weights are back. I don't want you to mistake this, guys. You cannot turn to the wrong things for a source of comfort and joy and peace. Because when you stand back up again, they're going to be back. And then you sit back down, and maybe it's something else for you. Maybe you're addicted to Fortnite right now. And maybe you're going crazy on the video games. Y'all know what I'm talking about. But maybe you're a gamer and you just know, I just can't wait to get home because when I get home, I can play the video games. The video games, like, they let myself just calm down and forget about what's going on in the real world. But I want to ask you a question. What happens when you put that video game controller down and you stand back up again? The weights are still there. And you're like saying, Cobie, I can't let go of this weight. I can't let go of the shame and the guilt, the decisions that I keep making. I keep messing up. Like Cobie, you just don't understand. I'm saying I do understand. I've been there. I've made decisions that continually feel like I stand up and I'm weighed down by the weight and the chains, man. It's terrible. And it's not how we were created to be. If, as Joey sits down again, maybe it's another thing for you. Or I'm going to be real honest with you guys. I'm just going to be straight up with you guys right now. Maybe for some of you, there's screens that you go to find joy and peace in that moment. Maybe you go to your social media platforms and you post pictures because you want another like, because you want another comment. You want another people to tell you you're pretty, or another dude to tell you you look dope as frick. Like, I don't know what it is for you, but like you go to social media because you want to be cool and you want to have this social media presence, whatever that is for you. I'm telling you, man, it does not sustain. It does not. We were not created for this. Maybe some of you turn to this to watch things that you know you're not meant to watch. Man, like deep down you're getting torn up and you just can't turn away. Like every day, every week, whatever, like you just keep going back to watch things that you know you're not supposed to watch. Because man, we were not created to watch those things. You know that it messes with your mind. So I'm wondering if maybe you keep going back to the device and you keep doing things on devices you know you're not supposed to be doing, or you're looking for affirmation for people on social media. Man, that's not like Jesus wasn't posting on social media. Like that's not where he found his comfort in. He fed the 5,000 and walked by himself and prayed. Like, come on, guys, he was tired, but he went and talked to the Lord. And instead, we're coming in and we're finding comfort in things that man do not sustain. And he stands back up. And you've done something you know you shouldn't have done. You've looked at things that you know aren't for you. You're finding comfort in places that you know don't fully sustain, man, but then you feel the weight. I've been here. I've been here. I've been here. I feel the weight in my life. You feel torn down. You feel like you just can't go anywhere. Like, man, like, Cobie, you don't understand. Guys, I don't understand everything, but like, I understand some of this. Like, guys, feel weighed down. And as he sits back down, there's one more thing here that I want to talk about. Maybe for some of you, it's the crowd you're hanging with. Maybe it's the people that you're vibing with on a Friday night. Like, I don't know what you do and how you spend your time. I don't know all of you. But like, what I know is I know people try to find comfort in places that do not sustain. For some of you, this might be a bottle. You might be going to those parties. He's like, what do I do? Don't pretend, you just hold it. You get that. Maybe some of you guys are going to the parties. You're hanging with people that you know don't feed you up. You're hanging with people that only tear you down. But it's chill, Cobie. But it's fun. But like it helps me get away. But that's my point, guys. Like that's not supposed to be helping you get away. Because again, he puts that bottle back down and he stands up and he feels the weight. I want you to catch this. It does not sustain. The things of this world do not ultimately sustain. They might fill a void in your heart for a moment. It might fill you up for a second, and you might feel good, but the problem is that you're going to stand back up out of the chair and continue to feel those chains and feel the weight in your life. And as he sits back down, I want to make a plea to you guys this morning that Jesus actually offers something that trumps everything else, that beats everything. He gives us something. He offers a present to us that is for each and every one of us. That I think, honestly, for most of us, sit right here on our table. It sits next to all the other things in our life. You might have one of these. You might have this, and you might actually be kind of familiar with it. You might go back to it from time to time. You might check in when it's an Easter or a Christmas. You might check in when you go to a service, and Pastor Cobie or Pastor Grant's like reading through some of it, but it's like that's the only time the entire week that you open it. But what I'm asking is that you open the gift and you hold on to this Bible that Jesus offers us. Guys, this Bible is our source of strength. This Bible offers us truth. And as Noah, my bad. I can't speak. As Joseph stands up, Jesus offers us strength that surpasses all understanding. He says, my burden is light. Guys, like He offers you freedom in Him, and He wants you to remember the sacrifice that He made on the cross for you, to let go of all the weight, and He says, I'm going to take this from you. He says, I'm going to throw this away. I sacrifice first so that you may live second, that you may be free. But guys, I think the problem is that so many of us do not spend any time in this Word. Yo, how can we be fed into by God? Like, how can we like continue to grow and know like how we're supposed to live our life? How are we supposed to know like what we're supposed to do, how to love people better? How are we supposed to know the story of Jesus if we do not read this book? I'm telling you, it has to be more than 2 times a week. It has to be more than Sunday morning and Thursday nights. It has to be a lifestyle. Jesus is offering this to you. He's saying, each and every one of you guys, I died on the cross so that you might be set free. But the problem is you continue to feel held down by the weights. Take up me. Because I want to challenge you that maybe God is calling you to a life where you're rooted in the Bible, rooted in His truth. That instead of a time of despair and shame and guilt, instead of turning to the things that do not ultimately sustain us, maybe we're called to turn to something that does. It truly gives us the hope. It gives us the peace. It gives us the joy. Guys, I can go on and on. Like this Bible, this book right here, gives life. Gives life to the fullest. And guys, I'm torn apart by the lukewarm Christianity. I'm sick and tired of it. I'd rather have 10 Christians who are so on fire than 1,000 that are lukewarm. Because Jesus does not call us to lukewarm Christianity. He does not call us to a faith that is just Jesus is calling us to a radical life. Like we should be seeing revivals happen. Because we are a people that are rooted in this book and rooted in the truth that Jesus came and died for us. My question to you this morning is, what would it look like if this group of LP students took this seriously? What if this entire group went about their week actually in this book? Because I know I'm gonna be bold to say most don't spend time in this word. And I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying it just comes like it's just a habit that just all of a sudden comes. Like it takes time, it takes practice. But I remember very vividly, like growing up, like my dad has a chair in the house that I would wake up to every day. I would wake up and my dad would be in that chair reading the Bible. It doesn't matter what's going on that day. It doesn't matter where we're going. It doesn't matter what the plans are. It doesn't matter what's going on in his life, how busy he is, how many finals he's got on his list. Like, I don't care what's going on in his life. I woke up every day and he spent time in the Word. And that set a precedent in my family that this Bible rules everything. That this Bible gives life. And this Bible, man, gives us the joy, the peace, and the hope that only comes from the Lord. And so I'm going to be honest, guys, like this isn't something that I'm great at. It's not something that I'm perfect at. But I'm continually working on it to make it better. Like I'm continually working to start every day out with God. Saying like, and this is something that I've done, but I've started every day, like I go on a walk every morning. And I'm not saying that's for you. But like this is something I've adopted in my life as I go on a walk every day and start with this moment, God, that today I'm living for you. Today my life is yours. Because God, guys, I think we need a daily reminder. We need to start our days out the right way and spend time then in the Word and say, God, like teach me, like feed me, God, feed me the bread of life. So guys, as we spend some time in the groups this morning talking, I want to challenge you to think about it. And as we go about our week, I challenge you to think about your life. What are the areas that you turn to feel fed up? Like to feel fed into? What are the areas that you turn to that you know like the day after it doesn't sustain? Like it might feel good in the moment, like it might bring pleasure, it might give you affirmation, I don't know, it might feed into you somehow. But you know the day after, the minute after, whatever it is, like it's all gone. And you know that feeling deep down. And guys, I want to offer you something that sustains. So guys, think about that for your life. Where do you turn that does not sustain? And how can we take steps in the right direction to move towards a lifestyle that depends on something that sustains and truly fills us up? What are the areas and how can we make steps? What are the areas? How can we make steps? You guys pray with me this morning. God, I believe this message hits home for many of us. It's a place that I feel like I was at for such a long time, and that's why I so boldly want to proclaim this from stage, because, man, it's terrible. It sucks, and I know some students might right now feel in a place of shame and guilt, might feel in a place where they're stuck by the weight and the chains in their life. God, I ask that you please pierce their hearts right now. Help them to see that, God, there's something that you offer that sustains. God, that you offer us a relationship that surpasses all understanding. Like that we can find joy, peace, hope, and comfort in, God. The list goes on and on. God, I pray that as we go home this week that we'll not remember me and not remember all this, but just remember maybe the illustration and the message that you're trying to send to us. God, help us to stay on our hearts and to continually think, how can we continue to move closer and to become more into who you have created us to be? God, we love you. And we thank you for this space to learn more from you. In your prayer, amen.